Hey guys, Raven here. So this is my first Elden Ring video. I'm an awful content creator. I'm always late. And I've been loving the game. Is it balanced? No. Is it a broken mess? Yes. But still, I'm having fun. I'm doing builds, and I want to share one of them with you. Um, I'll be doing the voiceovers for the invasions because I think that can teach you something. Because that's what I like when I see other content creators. Is their explaining of their thought process, and I think it's very cool that we as a community, the Souls community, learn from one another. And these are my impressions of this build right here. So the idea for this build was to make like an assassin, a blood assassin based on the Hoslow family. This is like the younger of the Hoslow brothers. So he has the two whips, but he has the Diallo's mask. And this is a soul level 80 build, plus 16 or 17, and plus 6 on the somber smithing stone weapon, which in this case is the Reduvia. I think I almost didn't use the Reduvia. It was just there because I was using a parry shield, and you cannot parry with whips. I'm also using a Dragon Communion Seal in order to use the Swarm of Flies that had some funny applications, and gives me like a long range alternative for the build. Also, I'm using the Raptor of the Mists, which synergizes well with the Claw Talisman, because you do like a jumping attack and then you get bonus damage. But this build is centered around bleed more than damage itself. I think it fits the character well. I'm also using Bloodhound Step, yet I think it's broken. This footage is from the almost like 5 days after the game launched, so it's from a very early patch, and I'll get into how I think Bloodhound Steps should be balanced. So in this first invasion, this is why I think Swarm of Flies is so good, because it travels slowly, and then you can attack at the same time that you're casting because of the travel time of the projectile, and you can do really cool combos. Raptor of the Mists is good, especially if you stack more poise, because you always get interrupted in a low poise build like this. It has like 50 poise, and man, what's up with the low vig meta of the hosts and phantoms? They should use it more. It's like the most important stat, but nobody specs into vigor. So this is a longer invasion, and I really missed these long invasions from Dark Souls 3. I mean, this game has a lot of broken stuff, and you can end up winning or losing an invasion in seconds. That's not why I love invasions. Sometimes invasions are fast, but I don't really like those fast one hit, two hit invasions. I like to savor them, and well, play the game. And I'm trying to gauge my opponents, and I left this longer invasion in because it shows a lot of mechanics of the game, in motion. A lot of these things you cannot really see in slow and in fast invasions, where you kill or get killed in one or two hits. And I left this long invasion because I wanted to specifically talk about poise. The poise system, and I don't know. I'm a bad content creator, but maybe I'll sometimes do a critique of poise in this game, because it's very different from the poise system of Dark Souls 3. I'll say right off the bat that I don't really like this poise system. I think the poise system from Dark Souls 3 was better, and I'll expand on that. But on this specific invasion, and for what I want to show you, I'm playing against two very different opponents. One has a lot of poise, and the other has almost no poise. And you need to adapt, especially if you're using small weapons like whips, straight swords, daggers. Yeah, have you seen a dagger? That's one of the problems of this poise system. You never see daggers unless it's like for a riposte or a special application weapon such as the Reduvia. That is a consequence of this poise system, but I digress. This guy, I cannot stagger this guy, so I need to always space out the gold, the gold opponent, the cooperator, but not so against the host. And these guys are doing their job well. They are trying to converge on me whenever and they are trying to flank me, and they are playing well, and they are not playing with, the usual stuff: Rivers of Blood, Moonveil, Bloody Slash, Bloodhound Step, and they are doing their job well. Also, another thing that this game has a lot of emphasis on is the bleed resistance of the armor. So if you stack poise, not only you get the passive poise, but usually heavy armor has much better bleed resistances. I have a lot of difficulty bleeding the gold, the cooperator, and it's much easier to bleed the host. And I think I end up killing the cooperator a little later on, but he wasn't that over level, I think. So he was doing a much more efficient PvP build than the host. But I really like the host's build and the creativity of his build, that coded sword. He uses it well. It doesn't have a lot of range, but it's a very cool weapon, and I'll try to do the build when I can on the coded sword. I really like that weapon. And also I like that he's throwing spells, but he's not spamming spells. This game definitely has a problem with spell spamming. The first 25% to 50% of the invasion is spell spamming, and if you can dodge or if you can build into ignoring the spells, then people will then fight. This area right here is a really cool area to invade, and a really easy area as well, because there's a lot of enemies and the mobs are strong, which is not the case for a lot of areas in this game. The build I'm using is not you go in and you deal a lot of damage. I mean, you can do a lot of burst damage with the whips and the bleed, but again, I don't have a lot of poise, and so I get poise broken like right here very easily. So, I mean, it's specifically in this invasion, this was a slow burn invasion, was a resource invasion. I love these invasions as well. And the open field really fits the whips well, because I truly cannot deal well with pressure. I need to keep at the range. I need to use spacing. So the goal did the big mistake there, and he stopped to deal with the mobs. And against the bleed build, when I can do 5 or 6 or consecutive hits on the opponent, and then it will do a lot of burn damage, a lot of bleed damage, and a lot of burst damage. So I ended up killing the host. I really enjoyed this invasion. They played well. It wasn't like they were not just mashing. They were using some strategic knowledge. They were trying to flank me, so it was really cool. but not all invasions involve a lot of combat, and this is something that I also love in Elden Ring. You can be very strategic if you want, and if it fits your build. Um, this invasion right here was against 3 players, and they were trying to go to the tower right there, but they would not engage. And this is something that you see a lot in Elden Ring invasions. They just stay put, and you need to try to draw them out. And again, this build is not strong enough to go in guns blazing and kill 3 guys. This is not an Ouroboros build. Also, use these stones if you have the FP for it. They can save you a lot of resources. So I'm trying to draw them to the dragon because I cannot take them all on my own with this build. And this build is a self-enclosed build. I'm not trying to use other weapons. I'm trying to do what I can with what I have. It's a fun challenge. So this I cut a lot of time from this invasion, and I'm thinking that I need to address this one strategically. So the idea here was to get close to my opponents with Concealing Veil. If you crouch, and if you are outside of locking distance, they cannot see you. And I know that they want to go to the tower, and I'm thinking that that's perfect for me because the strongest one usually leads the way, and the strongest one was the one using Redan swords. So I'm just trying to do an ambush. Like, he jumps, he cannot jump back, and now I have a 2v1 for myself, and I can do a lot of burst damage with the whips. So now I'm using Bloodhound Step because I don't know if he can get back. I don't think he can, and then I just go on the offense, and this is also, I think, well, the game has a lot of wide appeal, worldwide appeal, and not just for Souls fans. So, I mean, if you get a 1v1 versus the host, you basically won the invasion. So, this was a strategic way to approach this invasion. I wouldn't have won this invasion if it wasn't for this approach right here. And this was a very short invasion. This was a 1v1, a rare 1v1 in the bridge in Mount Gelmir, and this is just a reminder of how lock-on works on all Souls games, really. So if you go into an enemy, I use Bloodhound Step for this, and they go back, they roll back, and if they're locked on, they will always fall from the obstacle, in this case the bridge, and you don't even need to do a lot of fighting. So it's a fun way to win invasions as well. Yeah, about the 1v1 invasions. I still have mixed feelings about not being possible to do 1v1 invasions. I would prefer that they were in the game. I might expand on this on later videos, but you can still get awesome fights depending on who you fight against. This ghost, this phantom, this furled finger cooperator disconnected, and online connectivity has been really bad, and I hope they fix this. But now I get the 1v1, and this fight right here, I mean, it was the best 1v1 fight I've had since the game launched. And I'm using the Raptor of the Mist weapon art to its fullest extent, at least the extent that I can do it. I'm a competent PvPer. I'm not great, but well, I have a lot of fun. And this guy knew his Souls basics, the spacing, and this is a very cool weapon art. And since this, I've seen like this weapon art, this Ash of War, used like only once, Look at this exchange. He rolls, he roll catches me, then he goes into a backstab. Now I go to Raptor of the Mist, and then I bleed him out. Let's see this again. I thought this was beautiful. I mean, this game has a lot of great basics, and I hope that From Software really balances the game, because you can have epic fights and epic moments like this, but unfortunately a lot of broken stuff is in the game, and it takes the joy out of at least some invasions in part of the combat. And another thing that becomes very clear on this invasion is the strength of the builds. His build is much weaker than mine. Why? Because he has not enough armor not to be poise broken, and not a lot of bleed resistance. So I mean, I can punish him very easily, and he has a lot of trouble punishing me. But he's playing very well. He's spacing well. He did 2 rolls here because he knew I was using Raptor of the Mists. So this was a really competent player. So at this time, we're both half health, and then I do the dreaded pivot. But I managed to use Raptor of the Mist and quickly lock on to my opponent and get the kill. I mean, I love playing against this guy. And though there are a lot of open world invasions, look at the top there, they are trying to do an ambush. That statue is not really a statue, it's the mimic file being used. But though though I still like the open world invasions, I also have a fondness for this more old school From Software areas. And I love invading here in the Shaken Castle. And both of these guys have a good deal of poise, and this build deals very well with very badly with pressure. So you can see right here, I need a lot of hits to poise break them. So I'm on the defensive. Now I take the shield out. I'm trying to go for a parry, trying to bait them, and unfortunately I mistimed the parry right there. And I really love these guys because these guys were not afraid, and I like that players go on the aggression, because I think it makes more interesting invasions instead of them just waiting around somewhere and forcing me to use long range alternatives, which, by the way, this build doesn't have a lot. And the host here had the tendency to come out of nowhere and just slap me with the with the running attack like this, you know. He always comes out of nowhere and slaps me with the running attack, and he's playing aggressive, and that's why I love these types of invasions. I'm drawing them to the enemy room, back to the grinder, because they are, as they should, prioritizing me, and I'm trying to put some pressure on the Phantom, and once again, here comes the host. I never see this guy coming. So I get a bit lucky there, and I manage to bleed the Phantom through the host. And whips are really good as well. I'm going for roll catches if you decently know what you're doing. So jumping attack into R2, which is a roll catch, into an R1, which is a roll catch, into the bleed proc, and then another R1 for the kill. In this latest patch, I think they diminished the bleed proc stun, which is good. I think it's a good nerf to bleed. I think bleed needs to be nerfed a little bit further. But now I want to speak about the big topic of Bloodhound Step. I think it's very unbalanced. I don't think I would go so far as to say it needs to be removed from the game. I think From Software doesn't do that, even if I thought so. But I think that Bloodhound Step, in certain cases, makes sense in a build. I think it should cost much more. I think it should give much less invincibility frames, but I think it makes... and I think that's what From Software is going to do. I think it's going to increase... I think it's going to increase the FP cost and diminish the iframes. So now, and I use the Bloodhound Step there because that's another broken thing of the game. Stars of Ruin, if spammed, you cannot dodge it, and he without Bloodhound Step. So I'm trying to style on these guys, but now there are 3 of them, and they all have ranged alternatives, and I don't think I'm gonna win this invasion right here. Every mob in the level is dead. I won't have any mob support, so this is one of those moments that you need to think and not mindlessly engage, because I will die, and this is where knowledge of the level can help an invader, and I like that this is also a possibility in this game. Dark Souls 3 had a lot of this, and this game also has a lot of this. So I'm trying to move fast because I know if I'm caught on the ladder, I'm basically dead. I won't have another chance. Another Stars of Ruin. This spell is very spammable. It's too spammable. I think the FP cost needs to be increased for that one. So I'm trying to see if they will split here, and I can get a 1v1 or a 2v1, probably a 1v1. But this guy uses Rotten Breath. It is what it is. I cannot challenge that, so I need to wait. But then the whole party is here. Now this part of the level is something a lot of people don't know about, and there's a nasty drop right there, and you need to do the jump well. So I'm trying to bait the host into coming here. Notice he's taking a step further every time he attacks. I get Moonveil, but now I'm just hoping that the host falls, and he does. So this was the only way that I thought that I could win this invasion, and hopefully, it ended up working. This is the last invasion for today, and this is invasion about the current retaliation. I very rarely used it, but because it was honestly broken, I never did the glitch. I never used the glitch unless they used the glitch against me. I did like 1 week later, after this footage was captured. I used the carry retaliation glitch with the bell because they were using against me, and I thought it would be funny to kill them with it. But otherwise, I never used it. I used it like a normal parry that was broken as well, but there was not a way to get in on that. They were just standing on that tower right there, and they were not engaging the level. So I get my Karen retaliation, and I jump towards them, and I managed to kill one, and this opens up the invasion. And this guy is also using the Bloody Slash, which I think it's honestly, well, much less broken than a lot of things in this game, but a bit broken as well. You see it because a lot of PvEers use it. And now the host comes, heal bait, get my spacing well, but look at what the co-opper is doing. He was so thirsty for the kill, he killed himself on his bloody blade. I thought that was hilarious. And I get the the healing bait well. I get healed. I parry him, and now it's a 1v1. And yeah, this one's almost over. And now I'm thinking that maybe I should let him disconnect, or because he's just running away at the moment. And so I just leave him to disconnect or to be killed by the zombie right there. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed it. I'll be doing more in the future, more of these in the future, I hope. And if you thought the video was cool, leave a like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.